All you devils out there, happy Friday. Let's see, it's about 128 for me here. We're kind of teeing up a little handful of alts that we're going to take a peek at here. Of course, we're going to look at Bitcoin. And then I'm going to finish with a look at the S&P, which maybe a bit of caution, right? So, okay, let me start here. I'm looking at the weekly. And anything to suggest that that's not right on track for these upper targets? Yeah, I mean, there's just traditional Elliott here. You're going to see me do this on a couple of assets here. Length of the one. Now, where's the 4? Right now, if it's a triangle here, if we look at the daily, it's all right, right? Either way, right? Either one of these is going to be relatively close. Well, there's 100. Length of the one, a very common target, but that would imply it was the 5th of the 5th relative to this, right? So the implication would be, I'll get it down here, that this is going in. Well, that doesn't look right. I mean, can't say that it's not. I'll leave it like that. Well, it's not going to be one. Second most common, right? This is an extreme. If we can get up to 164, which I think for Bitcoin, extremes are worthy of consideration here. So 164 to 181 seems like a good target. That'd be it. Oh, first half of next year. Well, we may even get it sooner than that, first quarter. No reason to think otherwise. So if you're long, stay long. Well, I shouldn't say that. Something certainly to consider. There's potential for more upside here. You got to make your own decisions about when you're tightening stops or considering taking profit. Okay, let's go to a daily here because this count has gotten a little wacky. You know, the volatility of last week kind of disrupted prior counts. So now we're just, okay, based on this up down that we had here. Oh, I think we have a decent contender here. This is a little back and forth with my team, and you may have seen members. You will have seen this from PK and others, wonks as well. Let me just draw it here. So it would appear that we've completed up here. So if I take the white, right, from this low here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like that has completed, right? Look, right. It got a little weird with that pump and dump that we had last week, but it looks like here from this 1, 2, right? So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So I was always a little, is it too many? But it looks like we're going to need it. So this is good news, right? So right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives us the third of this 1, 2, right? So just to draw it again, I know it's a little tricky when it's not your chart and you can't dig in there. So 1, 2, 3. There's the 4. Now we're working on the 5, right? Now note that would be not the big third. Well, pardon me. Yes, it would be, right? It would be that one. Right. So this would be 1, 2. We're completing the third at this degree, right? So in blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, going up to try and get the fifth of what would be the third per this count, right? So here's the triangle count, 1, 2. Right, that's what we're looking to complete the third of. No, it's kind of tricky when it's not yours. So the big one, right? So now that's not complete yet, but if we get up here, right, you'll see, right, we will certainly have the right look, going for that fifth, and then the big one. It's just to be consistent here. If we do this 1, 2, that's what we were looking for. 3, 4. I gotta scrunch up here and get up to some of those 150, 160 targets that we were just looking at. Let's go ahead and use that. Now that's out of log scale. Right, look, big kick in the fifth. I wouldn't bet against it, right? In fact, I'm doing quite the opposite. I'm betting that is where we're headed. Okay, so if I dig in here, okay, I mean, one way to look at this is just, if you want to simplify it. Okay, we're going sideways. Little pop up, down, right? It's great example of why I would, I can tell you 1,000 times, right? Don't buy all-time highs. It just is never worth the risk, right? How did that work out for these guys? You think they got liquidated? Yeah, I think they did. I'm assuming they bought leverage, right? But either way, right? It's just with the exception of equities, right? It's just a moronic thing to do, right? Buy the all-time high, right? Equities different. You can get away with a breakout with equities. Crypto, futures, FX, right? You're just asking to be bent over. Don't do it. It's never worth it. It'll come back. Now, let's see here. I'm on a 4 hour. Let's go to a 1 here. It looked like that it was 3, 4, 5 here. Right? It looked like we might have been done there. But given the little kick here, I'm thinking perhaps we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's an internal impulse there into the 4 here. It looks like we've got another leg here. Now, keep in mind though, we're trying to complete. Oh, I should take that up a degree. We're trying to complete the 1 wave here. Right, if this is the 3, right, and here's the 4, it's a little, you got to deal with what's there, right? It's just, would I choose that for the correction? Of course not, right? But that's what's there, and now we're coming off of this with an impulse. So working backwards, this is what seems to be a reasonable count here with this impulse going up. Now, of course, if you're watching this again, as I just said, right, you don't want to don't do well. I would strongly encourage you think twice about doing that. Because if we're going up here to complete, right, what would the assumption be? Well, number one, you're going to have a break of structure up here, right? What do we anticipate after a break of structure? And that's not just a break of structure, that's a break of the all-time high. All right, so you think there's some liquidity there? Likely, yeah. So, okay, up for the 1 at this degree. Can you see that? Yeah, 1. Okay, so if that's the 1, right, and I don't have it, right, I don't know how far that can go, right, there's no telling, right, there's no limit on how far that can go. It's just, it would be unusual to get a monster rip in the 5th, right, not that it doesn't happen. Well, it's just, something, up here like this. Well, where do we want to buy it, right? We want to let it come back down, something in this range. Value. Now, if it holds up here, value can shift, but it's going to have to sit up here for a while to shift all of this value, right? I'm pulling that from this proposed low down here. Anchored VWAP underneath. One more little kick. Oh, where do I want to buy it? I want to buy it right here, right, with that as the target, right? That's what I'd be looking for next. Up here for the 3, 4, and again, I don't have this, right? So don't tie yourself to those numbers. I'm just, whenever this does complete and we start to retrace, well, that's the next buying opportunity, right? We're retracement traders, right? We don't buy breakouts. I'll wait for the retrace. POC's right there. I mean, could that get any better? Now, we're not there yet, right? This could still roll over, right? This could AB, right? Could still roll over. So don't fill it in your mind's eye. Let's let it happen. All right, let's see what we get there. I guess I can get this out of there. But that would be the thinking. Let it complete, grab all this liquidity, bring it back down, right? So those that need to learn a lesson, right? Well, can learn that lesson and then get a retrace here, and then this would be an opportunity to be a buyer down here. Be my view, right? It's just my opinion, right? Nothing more. Let's go over to ETH here. We looked at this in the live stream this week, so I won't spend a lot of time here, but it looks... Well, it's kind of a tough call, right? If you go out to the daily, I know you're not going to see some of this. It appears, the challenge with ETH is it's got this big zigzag in the middle, right? So, right, that's not what we wanted. We wanted an impulse there. Well, we don't get it. So it looks like you're going to have to do a 3, 3, 3, right? There's no requirement to overlap anymore, thankfully. So, okay, what are we doing here? Is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A, or is it A, B? It's kind of a tough call. ETH has been tricky, but let's take one impulse at a time. Right now, would you want to buy that? I mean, here's your all-time high right here, right? Same thing, right? It's going to be a break of structure. I would strongly encourage you to think twice about doing that. Where would we be completing here? Well, this makes me a little uneasy because of it's just the weird shaping, right? So if I'm coming, here I am, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now you've heard me say many times I do not like that, right? I want them to be all self-contained, but there doesn't seem to be a better solution here because this is clearly the impulse, right? It's clearly an impulse coming out of all this consolidation. So there are times when the market is just going to force your hand. There's an alternate, right? It almost doesn't get a lot better. All it does is change the shape here a little bit to this, right? If you started here, radically better. Well, right. So the thinking being, oh, okay, this would have some sort of completion. Oh God, can I do it like this? And we'd have the we'd have a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So you'd get an extra level in there, much like Bitcoin. Okay, do we need that? Well, this gets a little funky here, so you'd have to put that here. Then you're putting in another level here, so I should actually... Oh, fuck, I don't know that it matters right here. So it's just a question of, okay, they're all equals. And much like crypto, right, we went sideways till we got the launch right now. Since the launch, if you wanted to go 1, 2, it frames it a little better. I mean, at least a little better. I mean, you could damn near put this over here, and all of this is just schlop. There's another zigzag. And I don't think it matters. Quite honestly, right? I mean, this certainly looks like that's a candidate for an impulse 2, right? Although that looks like a 5, so you'd put it over here and assume, oh, a little truncation on the C. So you'd be in 1, 2 again. You'd put this 1, 2 over here. So here's our impulse. Again, I don't know that it matters, right? So if this is the 2, and we kind of leave it here, leave it as is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's kind of a high-class problem, right? If we need the extra 1, 2, okay, we'll deal with that. As it is right now, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a retrace. Now, if you look here, okay, does that look like it's done? Well, okay, center line of the channel, right? That's kind of a loosely drawn channel. All right, so I wouldn't lean into that too hard. Get you up here. Well, ideally, right, where would you don't want to buy it up here, right? Premium discount. I'm not saying sell it, but I'd much rather be buyed lower, right? So I think we looked at this on the live stream, right? Anywhere in this consolidation area, that's where I want to buy it. Well, that requires that whatever's happening here, is this the A? Well, it's, we didn't quite get a clean finish there. Okay, so going up for the B, that's what I want. Do I get it? Shit. Market doesn't always give you what you want, right? But that's what you'd like to see before I consider adding to ETH. And I'm probably under allocated to ETH to my liking, but it's been kind of a dog, right? Relative, right? Now, lots of people very enthusiastic about its potential, but right now, I try not to get caught up into that. What do I see on the chart? Well, right now, I just see this. Right, we're just in this consolidation. I'd love to buy it out of that consolidation a little bit lower down here into this consolidation. Right, that's where we launched from. And from this low, I get a perfect impulse. Right, so the impulse here is looking for a correction. So if I just work off of that low, right down here would be. Right, but potential, right? If it was going to extend, right? If we needed that extra 1, 2 down here, well, maybe this goes 1, 2, right? And then we're back to that's not the 3, right? There's another leg on it. So those are high class problems. Right now, I wouldn't buy it here. And again, that's just my opinion, right? A lot of years of doing this, but something like this come down here. Oh, I'm very, very interested. I would buy that spot, no leverage, right? Looking to hold long term. Okay, so that's the 2 biggies. Let me, I got a little something here. Let me pause. Okay, so I'm back over on AltFins. You guys know I like these guys and highly, highly recommend them. Now, granted, was an early investor, and if you click our link, yes, we'd make, I don't know, $10 something. So, but it would be that beside, right? I think you'd find great value here, right? So this is their screener, and I thought I would do something a little bit differently here, rather than just their hot list here. I thought we'd work off of cryptos that are producing revenue. So my thought was, okay, well, let's look at who's up over the last 30 days, who's leading in revenue, but then who's down in the last week. So you can see, I mean, 30 days, this is most of this revenue is coming from transactions, trading, things that are happening on chain. But we can certainly look here and say, okay, well, much like if you were looking at momentum, okay, something's up over 30 days, but down in the current week. That's essentially all I'm doing. So let me go through a couple of these. So leading the list here is KSM. Pretty good, but down at the moment, right? So some of these are going to be right, but others will be just such that at the moment where you want to start looking at them. Okay, now here, you're going to see this in all of crypto. That's a 4-hour. What else have I got on here? Got the market structure. Oh, let's pull that over. This is one of the best features about Ethereum is that you can start it, right? And then you don't have the, you know, many of them will, particularly the free ones, will give you fucking, you know, full history. And it's like, I don't want all that on my chart. I digress. Okay, so here I get this little box here. Eventually we break, right? So there's a breakout. Now you're breaking out from consolidation right now. I mean, slightly different than buying at the all-time high, right? So, but if we look here, I would not try and connect the two, right? I don't, right? That's the thing for me, right? I do not want to connect this to this. So again, you know, you've seen me do this a gazillion times. I don't want to do this, or if this completes here. Now, if I have to, because I'm getting another leg, right? Again, that's a high-class problem. So I just look at all of this and go, okay, well, that was the consolidation, right? That led to the expansion. All the alts, all of them did the same thing, right? Well, you're going to see it over and over every chart we look at. Very few where we did not come from this consolidation. Then we have the election, and boom, off we go. So where are we here? Well, this, you're going to see this in a couple of them. Well, that's, you know, again, that's not retail, right? That's muscle doing that, right? So that's one of the values we can identify from a fair value gap, from an imbalance, right? So here's the order block that launched that, right? Again, how do we know that's a good order block? Because it produced all that displacement. So we know there's likely this would be a good area of demand down here if we are coming back that far. Okay, well, you know, that's got to be the 4, right? So working backwards, so you got to work a little skinny 1, 2 in there. Well, here's the deepest retracement after we complete the 1, sweeping the liquidity here, right? What happens after the liquidity? Retrace. All right, what am I on? That's a 4-hour. Well, you could make the case here that the little pop here, right? That was grabbing the liquidity, right? Here, these are mine. These other ones are, whoops. These other ones are from Ethereum. Let's get you back on there. Oh, shit. Destruct. Right. Okay. Get you back online. Not that we need it, right? It just can add some value. Okay. So here's the impulse that I'm working on. Jeez, I thought I had you. Oh, fuck. It doesn't matter. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So there's the next change of character. We've already swept this external block, right, that produced all of this. So here's the last break of structure on the low, right? So as it sits right now, the implication would be, oh, hey. It's a little skinny there. You gotta pull that back. Now, one thing you always want to do with something like this, let me go out to a daily here. Get out of log scale so that you're not misreading it, right? It's easy in log scale because of the compression. Okay, right? Do we want any connection between all of this that happened, right? It gives us an idea of what the potential is. I mean, look at this fucker. It went to 640. Whoa. Bye-bye. Right? Somebody bought it up there. Somebody bought it. So we don't want to connect those two. Now, I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to bring this all the way over here and say, okay, let's just start there. I don't need all of that because that's not relevant to anything we're looking at. Okay, so now when I focus over here, okay, now we can get into log scale. Do I need to be in log scale, right? Well, here's the low of 13 to 50, yeah, 4 times the range pretty much requires it. Okay, so there's this is a bit of a judgment call, right? Could it be 1, 2 here? Then you gotta dig a 3 out of there. Whew, you don't have much. I'm tempted to want to finish it here, but there's no subdivision here. So it might be, as I had it, I think, you're going to have to, God damn, is there a 2 in there? No, I don't want you to get over there. Is it there? I know this is part of you. I know there's people out there going, oh, fuck, dude, right? Doesn't matter. Well, it would matter. Because the problem is that you'd have to use this as your 3-4. Is that enough, right? Well, maybe there's a little bit up there. It's just an order block, right? It's really what's happening here. That has now been fully mitigated. Sometimes, right, you got to look and say, are we just making it are we complicating for? Well, that looks completed. That looks like a 2. So if you go 1, 2, it's a little bit of a trade-off. Let's go up and agree. So you're going to get a good 1-2, but you're going to get squat for, so either you have to truncate here, which is certainly a possibility. It's 3, 4, 5. All right, we got to consider that. Let's take you off. Well, that's a tricky one. I prefer this. What did we get to here? Well, welcome to the sausage. Right? Usually I work these out, but see, this is the more shallow of the pullbacks, right? So if I go here, at least I get to the 50. If I put it here, this is, even this is iffy, right? So 1, 2, that's got to be your 3. Let's see, I'm gonna leave 30. Unless you're doing it like this, 4, 5, you might have to keep it self-contained. Oh fuck, come here. Oh, so much for me working this out ahead of time. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 3 in the finish. Well, all right, here. Let me pause this. Let me try and get this together. Well, I took a second look at it. I think this is, there's no easy solution here. It looks like the count here that would create the least impact if we're wrong here is the truncation into the 5th here. There's a little diag that gets that. Up here, we don't quite match the 3, but 1, 2, you're going to have to do, there's a little, you can barely see it, but if I really open it up, there's a little pullback here, could be your 3, 4, and then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into that 3, A, B, C into the 4, and then you've got this little diag here. It just doesn't get up to these upper wicks. So it seems like the better compromise there. All of that leading to, okay, where are we in this count, right? Well, because of that uncertainty here, and so the algo, right, it's not going to carry about a truncation. So it's just going to go dominant to dominant. So let's stay focused on that. Whatever this is, that could be ABC, right? Well, this is where we get a little help from our Elliott guidelines and rules. Is this AB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Well, that looks like you got a candidate there for an A wave. Oh, let's do it this way. Jesus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like that's got potential. What am I on 2? Let's go to a 30. Now it's a bit fat in the 4 relative to the 2. So the alternate would be, okay, is it over 1? And we've gone 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That could actually fatten it out a little bit better. Then the 2 and the 4 are not so imbalanced, right? We get a better look at that. Okay, so this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that has to be A, B, C. Oh, just kind of loosely. See here. Okay, this has to finish. Now, because this is a little abnormal, I wouldn't buy it here. That's me. Right? I would wait for that to complete. Right, whatever we're doing here, you got a little. You're gonna have a little supply zone up here. That will be a supply up here as we come into that. Right before we dropped and all of this displacement took place, you're likely gonna run into the algo here. Right, same secondary. So be mindful that you might have to deal with that as well, right? Because that's what the algo will use, right? If it breaks this, right, it's just going to go back 1. So coming into that, okay, well, that all seems logical. Put a channel on this. Oh, here we do it this way. Put a channel on this. Coming into that resistance, okay. Oops, I don't want to. Well, if you want, if you're a big KSM fan, right? You could buy for the, very low risk, right? I mean, you could put your stop right here if this is going to hold as an impulse. All right, so you got a decent, oh fuck, where are they? All right, you could be long right there. Stop here. You don't need a tick is all you need. It's 4 to 1. Let's go to the golden zone. Not quite 3 to 1. It's a nice little pop for a Friday or for the weekend, but keep a stop on it. Okay, let me keep moving. Right, I got kind of sidetracked there. All right. On the assumption here that we completed. Now, if just before I get off of this, the other possibility here is that we're going into some sort of a combo. If this is ABC and we don't complete here, right? That will certainly be telling. If we don't complete, and this, oh, can I do it? I'll get you out of there. No, it's not going to let me do it. If this rolls over here, well, then we'd have ABCWX, and we'd be looking for this to come lower to complete a more typical retracement into the 50-day golden zone. So thus, all the more, if you were going to take that long, right, be tight on the stop. No reason. There's no reason to take it below that, right? You're looking for that or out. Because the alternate, right, certainly could be we're going to go, if this is WX, we're going to go get another ABC down. All right, so one for the watch list, right? You know, take it if you're, I'm on Binance here because I needed the history. Okay, let me keep moving. Okay, working down the list, I went to DOT here, right? Their second highest revenue over the last 30 days, but down over the last 7, so that seemed like a good place to start. So let's go over to DOT here. I've got Pancake Swap teed up as well. How do we look off of the launch, right? So here's the election launch. Pretty clean looking impulse. You're going to see the similarity in many of them, right? They all have done sort of the same thing here, where it's like, oh, what is that? ABC? Well, is that an A wave? And we're doing hard to call that. Oh, this thing here I just found recently, Adaptive Trend Finder. It was in their editor's picks. It's nice, except it has to be in log scale, right? So when you take it out of log, it's no good. But it's a nice. Well, it's sort of like the regression channel, but for log scale, right? That's the idea. Okay, so here, but it will help you define, okay, where's the trend, right? So we're breaking a little bit. Well, is there clarity in that Elliott? No, that's not enough for me, right? I would want to see here, maybe we'll take it off for a second. It's A, B, C. Well, I lean into the fact that if we're going, this double is going to be the low, right? So this is just the thought process, right? If this double is going to be the low, right, and we're done here, oh, kind of shallow, for us to be done here. If this, right, on the assumption, right, we can look at this and say that, well, probably very little dispute that we complete an impulse there. All right, what do we get here? Now, if we get, this could still be an X. If we get a 5 here, A, B, C, right, we could get an A wave. We could have, oh, God. Yeah, you can get it. Well, it's there already. You don't quite get a new low here, but that's a true double. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So there's a 5 in there. Right, nice, tight, completed impulse. Well, okay, so is this A, B, C of an X? Jesus, my mute button's sticking. I mean, get away with it. 1, 2. It's so close, though. I'm reluctant to lean into that too hard. So what would be the alternate, right? So if we're doing it here, this would be A, B, C. Oh, it almost doesn't matter, right? It's here, right? There's the impulse, right? So this would have to be A, B. Does that look like a 3? No, not really. Maybe you could do it. Well, here, let's just consider so we complete the thought. A, B, C. Here, I'm doing live stream like well, I'll take you through the thought process. Okay, right. So what are we looking for here? Well, where's the resistance going to be? All right, we don't. God, I like to think everybody knows where I'm about to go with that. ABC. Could this be if this is done here? All right, that's what I see. Well, of course, if you're thinking about the opportunity to buy it, well, right, if this is complete, we want to buy it down here. If that is the X, which we cannot, there's no way to confirm that until we see we start to come down here. What are we looking for? If that's the C, right, we're looking for A, B, C. right, to come down and complete that and give us a, be ideal spot down here. It's likely going to be a demand zone, right? So something along those lines, just because I've got this completed impulse. As you hear me say all the time, the market is not obligated to do anything. It's going to do what it's going to do. It's just, where do they usually go? That's where I'd be looking. Oh, you could do the, well, this is already, didn't get, you didn't get full. Something like that, right? So on your watch list would be dot, right? Looking for a deeper retracement. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I want that. Okay, let me work down the list here. We did dot. As I recall, Stella. Let's look at it. I don't think that looked very well. That looked very good. File I've got. So hang on. Yeah, let's do file. We looked at this. I think on the live stream, but this one is very, very similar picture, right? I'm almost identical. Yeah. So if you look at it, it looks exactly the same, right? It's the alts, right? We're going to trade very closely. Is this A, B, C? You could make that case. Now here it looks a little bit stronger. I've got an A, I've got a B, 1, 2. You're going to have to do the 3, 4 here, big extension in the 5th. But note, right? I came to where I was anticipating that, because here I'm looking for a 4. I've got a clear impulse. So let's just make sure it's not mysterious. Here's a clear impulse. All right, we can certainly see that, right? Look perfect, right? Came back to the 50 within a tick or two. We're in the value area, all right? So this one looks a little bit stronger now, but they're likely going to move in tandem. So if this starts to go, then you might be looking at the others going, oh, wait a second, right? That ABC, so it looks like that's turning into an impulse, and now we're waiting for the next 3 to enter into that. So here, okay, the 2 and the 4, right? The 4 is much deeper, but the time is not bad. So, let's see if I did it like this. Well, let's use the 1. Come to the, it looks like we're gonna have to double it. So let's keep it color consistent, and let's clone that and bring you down. I'll do it. No, it looks like we're gonna have to go double. Okay, right. So candidate for the 4 right now. The same thing here. I don't, because it could roll over, right? That's not one I would buy. I would let that complete, right? Complete that here. So then I get conviction into that low. And what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for the 2. That's what I see there. Now, again, they're all threatening the same thing. This did at least what I have down here. We're in a squeeze at the moment, right? You can see that. The RSI is at the 50, right? So that you're just neutral right now. You don't know which way that's going to go. Could roll over this way. Now we've got a WXY, right? We're looking for something deeper. But because we're right in the pocket here, I wouldn't go there just yet. And this might, be a leading example is what we'll see in the others. Right? Do we get this? Does it turn into a 5? If it does, right? It's good news. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, I think Kronos was the other one that I had that looked interesting here. So stand. Yep, here it is right next door. Okay, got to pull way back out on this one. This has been all over the place. Now here I'm over on crypto, the aggregator, so I can get that full history. Let's see. Let's take it out of log, right? So do we want to be connecting any of these? No, right? This is meaningless to us. Other than it's giving us, well, how high can this thing go? How high has it been? But this is not connected in any way. All right, so what I would do is just work off of this. Now there's a tiny little 2 there. Sometimes you got to compromise a little bit here, but this I wouldn't call this completed because it looks like such a good 4. And if I work off the low, right, it kind of makes sense here. It's deep, but right into the imbalance. So I'm more inclined to go with the 1, 2 here. Okay, well, what is that? Not going to be 3. But do you see immediately, right? You should notice there's some issues here. Well, it can't be 3. Well, I can't's the wrong word. Very low probability that's 3, right? And we've already killed the idea of an impulse, right? Because we overlapped the 1. So if this is going to be, if we're going to go 1, 2, and we're going to get a traditional 3, right? Where they usually go, that would be the 1, 6, 1, 8. Well, right? We need a 1 and a 2 of this 3. Right? That looks to me like as we've doubled up here and Somebody who needed to learn the lesson about buying highs is now being taught that lesson. Just vertical, right? Just straight up. This actually, no, that's the 6th, right? That's when it launched. Same thing, all this consolidation down here, we just go straight up, right? So, okay, right, it's a dangerous place to buy it. I would strongly encourage you to think twice about doing that. There we go, up here. So where might you buy it, right? You got a nice imbalance down here. Oh, and a little order block. That would be decisional order block here. A little some people rally, base rally. Think of it that way. That's easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like, you know, this double is, so that's a hard double. You want to do anything up here? Or why not wait for it to come into the discount? Why wouldn't you? Right, if that's 1 and that's 2, if that's 2, right? We got this little spike down here, but I'd launch it here. 1, give me a 2. But I mean, certainly, right? They're making money. Where are they down here, right? It's pretty good. Annualized total revenue, 7 days, they're down, right? 30 days, they're looking good. So it's certainly one to consider. I would just all I do is put a. I'm going to do it right now. Whoops. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Let's put an alert on it. Okay, that fires. I'm going to come over here and have a look. Ideally, right? You get it in the pocket, right? You got that demand zone there. Probably maybe split the difference. If that fires, right? So then what's this typical, right? What are we going to do? I'm not going to just buy it. I'm going to wait for that reaction and I'll take the little retrace. Can I get into that, right? Which would be the 1. This is 1, 2. That's going to be the 1 of the 3, right? Because the 3 is going to be way up here. Right, so it gives you a roadmap. It allows you to frame it beyond just, okay, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, right? Market structure, right? Elliott gives us targets that are based on historical precedent. Oh, you can almost see that. No, that would be a channel. Yeah, well, you start, right? It's traditional Elliott, right? Here's where we start. I can't get through that channel. If we're going to retrace, now what we want is to turn it up like this. Right, like this. Get a 3 up here. Now you got a big fat channel. 3, right? Doesn't have to come down to the other side. That's what we're looking for Kronos. Okay, one more. You got a couple more. Hang on. Okay, pancake swap, and then we're going to look at the S&P, right? So, okay, pretty same thing. There's a 4-hour. Well, here's all the consolidation, right? Here's in November 6th, right? And up we go into a rip-roaring impulse. Well, now this is kind of interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like this is the internal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get us that 3. So we complete an impulse here, and it's all self-contained. Here's the launch point. I don't really want to try and connect the two, right? This is all just consolidation, as they all did the same thing before they launched. Oh, I'm over here on BloFin on this one. Okay, right? So this BloFin's our sponsor, right? So this is where we would trade it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cause, effect. Now, we've had a pretty harsh retrace here, and it's like this hasn't taken so much time that this is, well, that's too short. Maybe not, but we can be definitive about what we're anticipating here. Okay, so, oh God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so it's there. So we've got an A. That's ugly. All right, but let's consider it. I mean, based on the swing structure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, waterfall. Well, okay, that's not problematic because there's very clear decision matrix here. That's the thing about Elliott, right? That's why you hear me say this often, right? It gives it a huge advantage over any other technical approach. So I can look at this and go, is that 1, 2, or is that A, B? Well, if we get in here, right, it's not hard to see this. All right, so I got a 5. Well, how's that going to fit in? Well, certainly we can't eliminate the possibility here that we've done, oh shit, we could do it this way, A, B, C. Now, okay, we've run right into, well, now we have both a fair value and an inverted fair value gap here. I'd be kind of curious as to what the resistance looks like from the high to the 50. Now, the algo is going to use both, right? So, but I'd keep this on the chart because that's the one that will matter, right? From dominant to dominant. Okay, if we're going this way, ABC. Oh, all right, well, X. See, this is because of the launch here. So could it be 1, 2, 3? No, right? Because then, well, you know, this is a 3. Now I got an impulse, right? So it looks more promising to me to consider this as a combo, WXY, right? Now it's already done this. It's already come into the pocket where we would want. So what are the alternates here? That this is just maybe there's truncation here. This is just a bumpy start, and this is going to be the 1, 2. Let's get rid of that. That's a big truncation, right? Now, granted, that's mostly wick down here, but that looks more promising to me. Oh, let's take that. All right, until proven otherwise. Well, what would change our thinking there? Well, it's a little problematic here because you'd have to go 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So let me open that up. This would have to be the 1, right? Wick, this is the 1, which is already a shitty 1. Even if I go to a 15, which I don't really like to do, right? Because it's a bit of a wag down here. All wick. Sometimes here I'll go to the line chart and say, okay, what did we really do down here? This, you know, this is that's not the start you would want. Here's the start I want. There's the impulse, but how do I fit it into this? Am I going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2? Well, then it would have to yet again be 1, 2. So it's, I think until proven otherwise here, I don't know that there's a trade at the moment, because, well, if gun to my head, if I was going to trade this, I'd be looking on the short side because the risk reward is going to be better. If this is, let's fuck. Oh shit, let's just call it an A. Okay, so if I'm gonna approach this with my Elliott hat on, oh, we can go to platinum, right? So we'd have all of this potential here, right? And come right up to a tick from that and still be a valid B. But you would certainly, because of that, you would, God damn it, come here. You'd want to see a good 3, right? You'd want to see a good 3 into that, right? And then your risk reward is, you gonna buy it or sell it? I mean, if you're gonna trade it, you're not gonna buy it, are you? Well, shit, I shouldn't say that. Maybe you are. That's not something I would buy. Premium discount, right? Think of it that way. Right? Why are you going to buy in the premium? Why put yourself in that position where you're like, oh, fuck. No, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. Right? That's never a way you want to approach. You don't want to be sitting in the market like that. It's a high class problem, right? So you got to choose your trades here, right? That's iffy. I might even wait for a little bit, because if I get up here and I get a pivot and I start to come down, well, what am I looking for? I'm looking for an impulse to finish it. So there'd be plenty of time here to look for that, right? To trying to get into the 3, 4, 5, right? That's what you'd be looking for down here for the Y wave. Back to the golden. So let's go back to an hourly. Right? Can we get that? Big impulse, golden. Not in log scale, right? No. It's not dramatically different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's so clean. It's so good that it strikes me, right? When the launch is that good, I don't want to assume I'm going to have something unusual in the correction, right? At least get me to the 50. Okay, all right, so, oh shit, that's 43. Okay, let me get over to the S&P because I think this is noteworthy. Okay, so hopefully you got a few ideas there, right? Some things to get on your watch list. I encourage you to use this place, right? I think they have some kind of they have a trial that I think it's 2 weeks, right? It's a pretty good trial, if I'm not mistaken. At least it was when I was first looking at these guys a couple of years ago. There's so much shit in here, so much, right? I barely scratched the surface, right? If you're into the on-chain data, oh my God, there's so much in here. Some of it I have to look up as to what it is, but this is kind of where I was starting for. Okay, well, who's making money, right? Market cap to protocol revenue to total revenue, total value locked. I mean, there's all sorts of different ways to approach this, right? There's so much data in here. Hey, we've just looked at the screener for the most part, right? I've just gone to uptrend and a pullback. So with that said, okay, let me just a reminder here, our link, that's in our link tree, right? It's highly recommended. But, right, choose at your discretion. Okay, let's get over to the S&P because this is, well, hang on a second. Okay, I mean, this is... Right. So one thing we can all agree on, just if you're exposed to any of the financial media, is this is about as bullish a scenario as I can recall. Right? Everybody is long. Well, the vast majority of managers, money managers, people that have clients to respond to. I mean, they're long because the market is just on a rage here, and the assumptions have been, oh well, okay, with this new administration coming in, we're business friendly and up. Well, okay, right. I'm exposed to that same siren song, if you will, all right, for how we want to call this. But I'm a technician, right? So I don't ignore the charts because Bloomberg's telling me that managers are bullish. 1, 2, this is very hard not to see as a completed something. Now, a couple of things that I've done here, right? That we've looked at this count many times, right? So there is not a lot of variance in how this can be counted. I mean, you could do 1, 2 here, right? But I think this plays better because this is a perfect golden zone off of this pivot, right? I think I've shown this a gazillion times, right? So we go right to the golden here. So that seems like a good 2. So if it's A, B, C into the 2, and there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. So A, expand the B for the 2 here. Now, if I assume this is the 1, and I project from the length of the 1 from the proposed 4, right, which seems pretty reasonable as the 4, given where we are, and that's to the tick, 1618. The length of the 1, right? So if it's not going to be 1, I took off the 27, right? So if it's not going to be 100% the length of the 1, well, that's pretty extreme. Now you might look at this and say, "Oh, well, come on, man!" But AI is, changed the world. Bye. Right? Look at Broadcom. Look at everything. Well, look at the market today, right? I mean, S&P flat, but the NQ kicked a little bit right after a big sell-off, right? So it's not like, oh, okay, Broadcom is put up big earnings, right? They can't buy the chips fast enough. That's going to carry the whole market. The Mag 7 they're a different beast, right? The broad market here, they're in a different situation. So one scenario here, if you're uber bullish, right, and I'm not saying that I'm right and others are wrong. I'm just looking at the chart. Okay, that's if we get it's somewhat daily. So let's go to a 60. Right? It's hard to argue with the potential for this to have completed a diag here, right? It's doing it through a series of 3s. Now we don't have to overlap again. So ABC, retrace, ABC to the 3, retrace, ABC, wedge. All right, now for the uber bulls, we can work from this low to that high, and oh god damn it, come here. Where would we be looking for that retrace, right? Of course, you know what I'm going to say, right? So we'd be looking at here. You can see I've already marked it off, right, for a potential 2. That's a pretty big sell-off. All right, we can let's hide that. All right, since we already made that point. So now we're just looking at this channel going up. I'm very reluctant to buy there. Right? Well, I wouldn't, right? I wouldn't. Right? I'm plenty long equities, but I've started buying S&P puts, right? And it's just insurance, right? The assumption is, right? Okay, well, if it keeps going higher, you're gonna lose the premiums that you paid for. But if we start to retrace here, it's going to protect my portfolio. So I've started doing that, not massive size, but enough to where it would give me a little cushion if we were coming down here. That's a big move. We came down to 56 from what was our peak here, 61. That freaked the market out. Well, you can pull this over here and just think about, okay, what's unmitigated order flow over here? Has not been touched all the way up. All right, now, for the doomsday. Oh, this is one of my members did this on a live stream, and I just left it on the chart because it was so good. Right, potential for this to go higher, right? So if it were going to play this way, then that's why I put it as, instead of putting, oh shit, where would it be? Instead of putting this here, right? Well, there's COVID. 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of putting the 5 here, right, we wouldn't have hit that target, right, which work he was doing, length of the 3 projected from the 4. Same idea, right, but he's just doing it on a higher degree. I'm doing it right here. So if we're going to go up and do that, and we're going to get to that, holy shit, right, 100-year channel. Now that's out of log scale. I should make that note. Right, it doesn't look like it has that much. See, that's the log distorts your eye, right? Because it doesn't look, oh God, it doesn't have very far to go. I think I have to pull out to a monthly to get that. Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, there it is. This came from a member, right, for a live stream, right? Looking at that, I know you can't see it up there, but if we're looking at the full history of the S&P, it's hard to argue with the potential there. I know. Nobody wants to hear that. Could we have topped? Well, we've got an upside target here of 8,300. We're at 6,200 essentially. We now getting on the other side of this monthly channel, right? We're right at the edge of it. Right? We're just tickling the edge of it here on the monthly. We got just a hair beyond it. That's 2618. Oh, I can't remember what he's pulling from. It was just nice work, so I left it. Right, back to the daily. Okay, right. If you're an Uber bull and you're not ready to be looking for the top to be in, well, then 1, 2, right, and the top stays up here, and this would just be 1, 2. But right now, oh my God, that just. I just would encourage you, right? If you have a lot of exposure, let's just check this one. If you have a lot of exposure to the equity market. Right, you see that, right? So from low 50, we just tagged the algo target. Looking a little, again, I'm not saying the top is in, right? I would never say that, right? I don't try to call tops. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just looking at this chart pattern going, boy, that would make me a little uncomfortable if I was very long in equities. Right? I'd want to have some hedge of some sort, right? Now, depends on a lot of ways to hedge a portfolio, but depending on the size you're in, and I know many of people watching here, they're on their crypto, right? They don't care about trads, but they will affect all markets, right? If the S&P starts to come down, if it starts to come down, it's going to pull everything else with it. Risk appetite will be impacted. So again, what I've done, I've just started buying put spreads. In enough size to offset, it wouldn't be 100% offset, but enough to where it wouldn't hurt so much if we started to pull back. So just a suggestion, right? Everybody's anticipating, Christmas holiday. Careful, right? Charts don't lie, people do. Okay, guys, with that, I wish you a good weekend. We're back next week. We don't have anything going on. We have the BloFin volume competition going on, right? For any members that are in there, we've got a few people that are way out in front that are just killing it. So, right, it's based on volume, not your P&L, right? So kind of a different approach, but it's just a way to get you trading over there. We think you'll like it. Okay, guys, with that, have a good weekend. I'll catch you next week.